Hello everyone, this is Kathryn and Elevated Consciousness Coach, 5D Visionary, and Conscious Creatrix, coming at you with the monthly energy report for March of 2020. So I'm just going to come out and say it. There's a lot of darkness out there right now. Lots of shadow, dark energy, vying for your attention, making a big play for your energy. And it's time for us as sacred warriors who are here to anchor, hold, and spread the light. It's time for us to really stand our ground. So yes, this is a call to action. Yes, this is a month for a very, very sacred container of transformation also at the same time. But it is a very, very good time to take a deeper look at where you're playing into the hands of darkness and shadow. And it's not that we're supposed to push it down and suppress it, but it's rather that we are supposed to surround it with light and really anchor into compassion and kindness and understanding, especially. This is a time for lots and lots of understanding, compassion, kindness, and love towards ourselves and towards others. Because you're feeling it, I'm feeling it, we're all feeling this darkness and this shadow. And so there wouldn't be, let's get some perspective here right off the bat. There wouldn't be this much of an awareness of this presence of darkness, of this dark energy, of the shadow, a lot of fear programs running, if there weren't so many of us coming into the light. I'm going to say that again. It bears repeating. There would not be so much of the fear programs running right now if there weren't so many of us coming into the light, coming into awakening, coming into self-actualization, self-healing, self-upgrading. So many people on the planet are waking up to a greater, more expansive way of being. The powers that be that are, let's just say, perpetuating these fear programs of darkness have a lot to lose when so many of us are coming into awareness and into the light. This is a year of disclosure. I've said it many times before. March is a big jumping off point. It is a springboard for this disclosure that is coming in waves and accelerating over the rest of 2020. So this is a time to challenge yourself. And you're like, hey, I feel really challenged already. You know, January and February were not very easy. I know, I get it. But this is meant to help you out of your funk if you're in one. It is time to challenge yourself to go deeper into the light. Go deeper into the light. It's time to really empower your life. Live with more zest, more courage, more confidence in who you are, why you're here, what you're setting up for yourself so that you can move successfully past these fear programs and into empowerment. Understand that even with all of this chaos, this kind of maybe feeling like a monotony of fear over and over again, just translating in different ways and coming up through different programs, please understand you are right where you need to be. Take a deep breath and anchor into the truth of that. You are right where you need to be. But this is a time to challenge yourself, to be alert to where you might be sabotaging yourself, where you might be subjecting yourself to unnecessary criticism, whether it comes from an outside source or whether it comes from your inner critic, that could derail your progress of being a sacred warrior of more light, of challenging yourself to go deeper into the light. These are unnecessary diversions of your energy, unnecessary ways of you allowing your energy to be siphoned off, dragging you down. This fear that is presenting itself as a lot of darkness and shadow right now. There are a lot of things happening in the world that we're supposed to be afraid of, intimidated by, biting our nails, waiting for the other shoe to drop. It is not real unless you believe it is so. The fear is more about a lack of understanding than anything else. lack of understanding that everything is being reorganized. Everything is shifting because of this massive planetary, in fact, multi-planetary reorganization of energy. This is a multi-universal, multi-planetary, cosmic reorganization of the atoms of the entire universe. The multiverses, if you want to even take it out that much further. The fear that is at play is a lack of understanding that there is a bigger reorganization taking place. And that spiritually rebellious part of you, the one that is the sacred warrior of divine light, of challenging yourself to go deeper into the light, won't get bogged down by these people, these programs of fear that are promoting a propaganda and a paradigm of waiting for the other shoe to fall, waiting for you to die even. I mean, some of the messages are so outlandishly repulsive in the sense that, you're going to die, coming at you every day. It is not real unless you believe it is so. And if you're going into the fear, understand that fear is a misplaced understanding of what's really going on, whether that is within you or within the collective. It is a lack of understanding these fear programs, okay? The part of you that's the spiritual warrior, the part of you that is divine warrior of the light, is really vying for your attention at the same time all these fear paradigms are vying for your attention. And it's begging you to see opportunities to inform and help lift those people up who are in fear. And I'm not talking about coaching people who aren't asking for it or preaching to people from your soapbox to people who aren't asking for it. That's not what I'm talking about. We teach others in the most profound ways by staying on our own path, inspiring others, instead of, living in a way where we're commiserating with the people who are in constant stages of fright and fear, fight or flight, survival mode consciousness, which is a paradigm that's being pushed heavily at this time. We inform the collective and we show the collective a higher way of being by simply, as a sacred warrior of light, staying on our path, inspiring them through our due diligence and commitment to pursue the light at all costs. Staying on your path, standing your ground is the most important thing you can do this month, through the rest of this year, through the rest of your life. So it's a time to be alert to where you might be sabotaging yourself, allowing yourself to be sabotaged by these outer influences. Stay on your path. Beware of harsh, dark forces that manifest as self-criticism. That ego voice, that inner critic, it isn't real. But yes, there are very subtle, sometimes very unnoticeable forms of mind control that are happening. And it's disguised as the voice of the inner critic, the ego voice, quite often that little voice inside of our head that's always doubting, that negative Nelly or that negative Norman, and that's always, niggling away at our best intentions, our highest and best desires and ways of being. Who the hell do I think I am that I can do this? That's the voice I'm talking about, That's going to be coming up a lot right now as these fear paradigms, these false timelines, and that's exactly what they are. These are false timelines of false fear paradigms designed to subvert the higher mind, the higher intelligence of the collective, and they are working really, really well. If you allow that, if you are giving up your sovereignty, and if you are allowing that subversion to take place in your higher mind is yours to protect it. Stay on your path. Be aware of where you might be sabotaging yourself in terms of harsh self-criticism, negative self-talk, saying, who the hell do I think I am? I can't do this. Who am I? I'm nobody. I'm small. I'm nothing. That is not your voice talking. That is not your higher self. Stay in your heart. Stay in compassion. While I try to pull back from using the word test, because the universe doesn't test us, the universe is always and ever asking us to make a choice, to decide on our way of being. To imply that the universe tests us is to say that it has judgment. The universe has no judgment. That would imply the universe has ego. There's no judgment. The universe is simply always and ever asking you to choose, to decide. So staying in your heart, staying in compassion, this is your spiritual quote-unquote test for March and maybe even well beyond. To understand that all true creative work, creative pursuits that you are endeavoring to engage in right now involves confronting darkness. Always. That is part and parcel of the creative process. To go through that self-doubt, that mistrust of self, not being able to trust your ability, your capability, that the resources will be there when you need them. Everything that you need is right in front of you. Everything that you need. The desire most of us have to ask for that full and complete product to show up implies that we are hoping and hedging our bets that the universe will create this whole complete product for us and then drop it in our lap. No, all the resources, all the tools, everything that we need, all the parts and pieces are there right in front of you. It is up to you to assemble it. The universe will provide the resources, trust me. But this is a time to anchor into that trust. Again, stay in your heart, stay in compassion. This is a spiritual test in front of us for all true creative individuals who are creating something bigger than themselves, to lead the world forward, to lead their lives forward in positive ways that are aligned with the higher way of being that is for the highest good of you and the highest good of all. It always involves confronting some level of darkness. If there wasn't so much creativity on the planet right now taking hold, there wouldn't be the balance of so much darkness. Darkness just is. It's just part of the duality that we, and the polarity that we know down here in 3D time-space matrix of reality. Being a divine warrior of the light is not about fighting the dark. You can't fight the dark. Darkness just is. It is about, rather, surrounding it with a light of compassion, understanding, love, that there is a deeper definition, maybe not definition is the best word, but there is a deeper reorganization taking place that maybe we can't understand on an intellectual level, but if we are coming at this from a place of a vantage point of our higher self, if we're coming at this from the heart and anchoring our energies into the heart instead of into the intellectual rational mind, which is easily subverted right now, we'll be able to at least comprehend that there is a deeper reorganization taking place, and we can settle into some kind of peace and serenity with that. But do your due diligence. Be aware of any darkness around you that is trying to push you back into shadow. Maybe you've made some leaps forward. Maybe the energies of January and February have maybe left you feeling a little bit hungover from the intensity of these energies, but now you feel like this shell cracking open, the egg of your perception of perceiving new ways of being is cracking open. Resist the urge and be aware of any darkness around you that's trying to push you back into shadow. These energies are very strong right now, but we are not powerless against them. We must be aware. We must be present. Not honoring or trusting or believing in yourself is what this looks like, this darkness. Not taking care of yourself. Not grounding yourself. And I'm talking not taking care of yourself in a very physical way, but also a mental way. Are you pulling back enough from the minutia of your everyday life if you feel overwhelmed in your everyday reality to get your bearings? Whether that means lying in a bathtub for 10 minutes, taking 10 minutes to do some deep, very restorative breathing techniques, doing some yoga, exercising the body. Even if you are just doing 10 minutes of stretching every day, understand your body is designed for movement, and that's one way it purges toxins. It's an excellent way that it purges toxins. If you're not doing that right now, you are not taking care of yourself. The body is designed for movement. Move it. Let it flow. Let it express and expel energies that aren't serving you. Be aware of, on a mental level, of taking care of yourself, where you're feeling irritation, exhaustion, hopelessness, anger, fear. Refuse to be conquered by that. Take care of yourself. Be present. Be aware of when you are feeling these things. Get in the present moment with it. And then heal it. Release it. Find a good technique for removing that irritation, that exhaustion. What is the source of it? Are you saying yes to too many things and maxing yourself out? Start saying no to some things. This is also taking care of yourself. Having the gift of boundary protection is one of the best and most profound gifts that you can give to yourself right now. And when our systems are down, when our walls of protection are down, that's when we let more of the darkness and more of the shadow in. And then we feel bad about feeling bad about ourselves. This does you no good. Get those boundaries of protection up. Ground yourself. Take deep breaths often, always. Understand that any blocks or issues that you're working through right now that have, come through in the beginning of the year, that were lingering through 2019 and still being part of your awareness, part of your everyday reality in January and February, we're really coming into this period of, the storm settling. This is also a natural part of the creative process. It blows everything around, and when everything settles, the stuff that was meant to go is gone, and what's left is a little more clarity. What's left is a release of tension. What's left is wisdom. What's left is the gift of getting rid of the clutter and bringing all the things in that now there's room for, there's energy for. Whatever that might mean. There is this kind of collective clearing away of the cobwebs of a way of being that's no longer serving you, it's no longer serving humanity. Lesson learned, karma, contract, timeline, now complete. You can make this your mantra and say it. I say it all the time. There are gifts coming in to you now. The dark wounding, the time of the biggest part of healing the shadow, that is over. That is coming to completion. That is coming to fruition. And all the gifts and the wisdom that is imparted to you from releasing that undue stress, tension, and energy is now coming in as a gift. Always there's a gift in the garbage. When we go through a massive healing, a massive upgrade, a massive storm, dark night of the soul, a reckoning of our entire way of being, the gift that the universe always imparts us afterwards is wisdom, insight, the ability to know what we don't want anymore, to declare, I'm not going back to that, ever. These are gifts. These are gifts, and they only lend themselves more to the creative process of whatever you're endeavoring to do. So this is a time to, again, be aware of the shadow. Do your due diligence of being a sacred warrior of the light. Stand your ground. Stand your ground. Defend that which is worthwhile to you. Being a sacred warrior of the light means being vigilant with what is truthful and meaningful. This is especially important this month, even in the smallest ways. Giving up a part of yourself because it makes someone else feel better, but you're denying your truth, is still, at the end of the day, denying your truth, denying what is worthwhile, denying what is truthful, denying what is meaningful. That is no longer part of our paradigm anymore, and it certainly is not part of being a sacred divine warrior of the light. It is not standing your ground. And darkness, shadow, it's very sneaky. It'll tell you, give this little thing up. It doesn't matter. It's not important. This is not really going to make a difference anyway. This kind of thinking, which again, this egoic voice, this inner critic, is kind of lulling you into staying asleep. It is dulling and dimming your light with lies that it doesn't matter, it's not important, someone else will do it. These are lies. You have the power to wear the mantle of a sacred warrior, a divine anchor of the light. It's time to look at what you're dismissing as not mattering. This is really coming into play quite hugely this month. And this just isn't an option anymore. Stay strong. Stand your ground. Defend that which is truth, that which is meaningful, that which is worthwhile. What do you really believe in? What are your values for you and for the entire planet? Stay steadfast with those. And this is a time to pull back a little bit. And now that we find ourselves in Mercury retrograde for a little bit longer, this is a great time to pull back and assess everything that I'm talking about here. I invite you to really consider the things that maybe really made your ears perk up. Something I said here that made you be like, you know what, I got to do that. That is your higher self talking to you, saying, yes, it's time. You can't procrastinate this on this anymore. It is not time to push it off to the side, because that's you saying, this isn't important. This doesn't matter. I don't matter. There's a common denominator there in why we dismiss certain things that we know are for our highest and best good, is because there's a core belief that we don't matter. The time for that is over. That game of self-deception, self-denial, it's over. Especially if you feel this call to really anchor into more truth, anchor into more authenticity, anchor into more of what is genuine for you, the highest and best good for you, and the highest and best good for the entire planet. Bringing certain things in on a practical level, I'm talking about manifestation. This is a time to look at what has cleared for you in January and February. What have you made room for? So this is a time to really boldly ask, say it out loud, what it is that you truly want. This is a time to not barter with the universe about what you think you deserve or what you're allowed to receive. Again, that game of self-deception, that paradigm of self-denial is over. That kind of begging bowl syndrome of, well, I really want this, but I'll be okay with that. No. That time is really over. Taking small steps right now, even if the benefits of it don't show up in the physical reality right away, understand that this time, especially through March and April, the small steps that you're taking right now towards what you really want to manifest in your physical reality, they are more powerful and they have more momentum behind them than you realize. It's not always going to show up in the physical reality right away, because what did I say at the beginning here? There's a massive, massive reorganization of reality happening, and it is happening on our behalf, meaning it is going to greatly benefit us in ways that we can't even imagine right now, and we can't even really see. We can maybe see the scaffolding of it right now, but we can't see the full expression of it right now. That's okay. This is a time for you to trust that those small steps, even though they may feel microscopic towards manifesting what you really want, they are more powerful and they have more momentum behind them than you realize, because there's so much reorganization happening behind the scenes that is not privy to our five senses yet, but they are happening. Rest assured. The effects of your actions are cumulative, okay? Small steps every day, I don't care how microscopic they are. The effects of your actions are cumulative and they will begin to overflow into the physical world. So keep the faith. Stand your ground. Be a sacred warrior of the divine light. Defend your truth. Defend what is truthful, what is meaningful, what is worthwhile. And the physical manifestation of your work, your great work of being a divine warrior and anchor of the light, it is coming. You have all the resources you need and then some. Remember, it's just one step at a time right now. You don't have to do everything at once, but you must do something. You must take action in the physical towards your endeavors, towards your intentions, towards your creative expression, towards your massive manifestation, whatever that is that feels so grand you don't dare ask for it. Dare. One step at a time. I want to thank you for listening, and I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful month of March. And as always, I want to wish you so much love and peace. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.